Yeah. Forever. Ooh, I can feel you call. Hi. Ooh, the keeper. I've never been less happy to see you. Hey, everybody, this is Patrick Hyperfish. Welcome in. I had a dream last night that was interesting. Talked about it first on the Legacy channel. Again, because the platform over there is a little bit bigger. It's considerably bigger, honestly. Um, but it just kind of sort of felt that important. Right. No OBS today. I know y'all may not necessarily. Well, maybe y'all can tell. I don't know. So I had a dream last night. If you didn't check it out over there, basically, long story short, you can't. It's not about fighting and arguing with people. If people don't want to be helped, or if they don't want to be in your life, then again, it's not to fight or argue with people. And for the people who have it coming for one reason or another, we can't necessarily prevent what's coming for them either. It was a very, very, very heavy dream. It started off more like mildly annoying than anything or interesting because, again, like somebody was kind of sort of trying to argue with me, and I'm just like, I'm not here to argue. Like, you know, those were left turned up from before, so they don't really mean anything. But I guess everything always means something, right? So it was the Knight of Wands and the Five of Pentacles, I think. But yeah, it went from like, I'm not gonna fight with you to, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. Go back in time before it happened. Hey, this is gonna happen. We're not talking. Like, don't talk to me. Okay, and then it went from that to like I did something I wasn't supposed to do, and it was a misunderstanding. But I mean, you can't keep anyone from their karma either. So, and karma, just like the consequences of our actions, more so than like, you know, grand karmic things, just like the consequences of our actions. And not really being able to help anybody in that dream. It hit different than when I'm just like, I'm not fighting in dreams anymore, so I'm gonna just walk. Well, there's that devil energy. I'm just gonna walk away and let people fight their own fights. It hit a little bit different when, you know, first of all, it's people I care about instead of just random dream people. And it's not that, you know, even if they may not be real, that I don't care about random dream people, but it's different when you're emotionally connected to someone. But I guess even then, it wasn't like it wasn't my fight to fight, so it was just a little harder. I was like, wow, maybe that wheel is about to start turning. Okay, that's enough. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Swords with Kali. I don't know if this is. I think she got different forms, so I don't know if this is Kali Ma or a different version of Kali. This is really bright. Let's see. Oh, I'm trying not to disturb things. Here it is. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so let's get into these, shall we? There's quite a few cards, but that's okay. First card out is the Ace of Swords. Veritas immediately popped into my mind, and Veritas is Latin for truth. In this deck, the crown is at basically the hilt of the sword. And this Ace of Swords also comes with a shield. There you go. This Ace of Swords also comes with a shield. It's one of the few Aces of Swords I've seen that comes with a shield. So it's something that can it's both offense and defense. The offense is the defense. Because, like, let's say that if your body is under attack, let's say you have like a cyst or something, right? The offense would be going in and excising that cyst, but the defense is like, protecting your body from whatever was in there by removing it. It's a two for one. I kind of want to read this one, so I will. Excuse me. Yeah, I'll probably end up napping today. I'm hoping that, by the time I do end up going back to sleep, that I won't have another dream like that. Dreams have been interesting, question mark, lately. Not necessarily like, and I've had crazy dreams, but man, it was really hard. And there's a brother that I protect, and then there's a brother that annoys me in my dreams. The brother that annoys me in my dreams, and he annoys me because he like makes things worse. He's the brother that makes things worse. He introduces conflict or friction where there doesn't need to be any. But I like, so that's the brother that I dreamed of last night, and I couldn't protect him because whatever he had done, he had it coming. And I feel like it's kind of like crappy for me to be like, yeah, I just like let my brother take whatever. But at the same time, like if he did something, it's like for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. For every action, there is a consequence. And to try to prevent that consequence would just lead to further and further action on the other side. And it would involve me where it didn't really. And also, like, everyone is somebody's brother or a son or daughter. Everyone is related to someone. So, I don't know. Thankfully, though, the worst of it was the person who was like severely beat up. But after that, like, we went back in time to before that happened. It really did. Like, I've seen that person beat up in dreams a few times, and it does something to me every time because I'm like, no, why is this happening? But that's the worst it's ever been. And then I went back in time to before it happened, and I couldn't even warn that person because they didn't want to be. I was like, okay. I mean, I gotta respect that. Let's do a little bit of this. Oh well, it's too bright, but if I turn it off, then I won't be able to see. One second. Yeah, that's a little better. Compromise, sort of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so it's the brother that usually makes things worse that I couldn't protect. And it's the brother that I usually protect. I saw him at the very end of the dream. And since I usually protect him in dreams, and this dream was full of people that I guess I couldn't protect or save from themselves or from their own actions, I saw him at the end and I was like, oh my gosh, was I supposed to protect him from something? But I wasn't. And he was good, which was really nice. And then I saw my mom at the end too, so of course, I ran to her crying, like, "Oh my gosh!" And my brother was fine, relatively. It shook him more mentally than it did physically, and it was a bit of a course corrector. Sometimes we do have to experience certain things to know that life is real and things actually happen, and there is real life consequence to our decisions and stuff like that. And then maybe it puts things in perspective. So upright, this is ruled by Anio, ruling angel Kamael, Kamael, the angels of the Shem HaMepharash. There's a bunch of them. Shem HaMepharash. Shemethrash? What was it? Melkuta de Shemaya means the kingdom of light or the kingdom of heaven, maybe. A sword is encircled by a gold and silver crown. The crown symbolic in Hermetic Kabbalah as Keter. For completion of the great work, Keter is that topmost emanation in the tree of life. For completion of the great work and access to the initiate's most potent source of personal power, is adorned with the mystic rose, a cross at the center, a ring of 3 petals for the tria prima, or 3 primes of alchemy, a ring of 5 for the elements of life, fire, water, air, earth, and quintessence, and 12 for the zodiac, the confluence of space and time. The rose is bleeding a single drop of blood, a symbol of rubedo, the alchemical stage of success. The band around the crown features the air signs Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Upon the hilt, I guess I could hold it up as I'm talking about it, right? Upon the hilts of the sword, at the ends are the symbols for the Hebrew letter Yod, symbolizing twin drops of heaven's dew. This is the divine spark of creation, which can also induce the initiate to become filled with the Holy Spirit and speak in tongues. At the center of the hilt, the symbol for Chi-Rho, or Kai-Rho, Kai-Rho, symbolic of just cause and the incarnation of Christ, the pre-existent divine logos. To either side of the Kai-Rho spherical rubies, at the tip, let me zoom in a little bit, the sword emanates with 11 rays of alternating colored light. Behind the sword, a shield with a cinnabar red cross bordered in white. Cinnabar is the key to producing the Philosopher's Stone. Above to the sword's right is a palm leaf symbolizing victory. To its left, red hollyhock for ambition. At the base of the image, clouds across a pale blue-gray sky. Courage and strength are the final measures to produce sacred cinnabar. The Ace of Swords is the quality of enforcement. This is the card of primordial air. It is the actualization stage of the initiate's path to achieving the magnum opus. Alchemically, the Ace of Swords corresponds with Mercury. Cinnabar is refined Mercury in a brilliant scarlet form, hence the phase name Rubedo. It first descends down to manifest on the physical plane during the season of cardinal air, or the autumnal equinox. Hey, that's next month. The color associated with the Ace of Swords is red. The Ace of Swords signals alchemical success. Again, the Ace of Swords marks the seeker's personal sword of the spirit, which helps you to achieve knowledge of all things, a knowledge and wisdom that advances what was attained through the spear of destiny. It empowers you to become an indomitable spirit, to be undefeatable, and to achieve the penultimate of sophistication. The Ace of Swords in Sacred Cinnabar gives rise to the autumnal equinox. And again, that's next month when we go into Libra season. Interesting. The vernal equinox saw lockdowns and shutdowns all over the world. And the autumnal equinox might do the same in America because Americans or Americans. Let me stop. I'm sorry. That's unnecessary. Oh, I'm hungry. So there's the Ace of Swords. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We got 2 fools. We got 2 fools. 2 fools. And it was like this. And this fits the narrative that I want to tell. So we're going to tell it this way. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. We got the Fool, and then the Holy Seat, and then the Seeker. And the reason why I want to do it this way is, because in the Holy See is the energy of organized and structured religion, not just religion. It's the system of organized and structured thought. So even spirituality can fall into this. But in this deck, the Holy See is a call to go beyond the twin pillars and to experience the divine for ourselves, right? And some people may be like, hey, well, with spirituality, that's what I do. And it's like, okay, yeah, you read someone else's meaning for a card or something, and you buy into what other people are telling you about like chakras and energy, or you listen to that person and you listen to this person about this and that, and you take their associations with it, or you build off of what they give you. And it's like, is that really seeking the voice of the divine for yourself beyond using tools and things like that? It's about really, oh wow, I thought this was a little bit off, but boy, is it really. Maybe. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's happening. It's like this is fairly straight-ish. I'm not in. I don't know. It is what it is. DJ, turn it up. I just heard "We Are Who We Are," and that's why I was like, DJ, turn it up, DJ, turn it up, Kesha, get into it. So again, the Holy See is about going beyond these two pillars of structured and organized thought, beyond things that have already been thought and things that are marketed as getting you closer to the divine, while you don't, or we don't actually get any closer to the divine within and of ourselves. It's also about sort of holding other people up on spiritual pedestals, again, where we would seek them or their advice to connect to the divine rather than trusting our own and building our own connection with the divine. And that's what happens at the seeker. So it's the fool that listens to this Holy See energy, but it's the seeker that chooses to go beyond and claim all of that for herself. And again, for the seeker, this is the keeper. Sorry, I keep saying the seeker. This is the keeper. When you go beyond these two pillars to claim all of that divine knowledge and wisdom for yourself, you then become someone who keeps it within you. And keeping that maybe involves a certain element of responsibility. Right. And it's like you cross this chasm, and look, there's two pillars here, and then there's two pillars here. It's like you cross this chasm, and then you encounter the Hierophant energy, the Holy See. And some people will make this initial sort of leap in spirituality and kind of sort of get stuck at this Holy See phase and never really go beyond to become a keeper. And maybe it's not for everyone necessarily, and that's fine. But this card was coming out a lot a few months ago, maybe before the solar eclipse, I think. Might have been like April, May, maybe. I don't remember. I have so many videos. At some point, I'm going to have more videos on this channel than I do on my other one. That hasn't already happened. I kind of want to see really quick if it's happened, but it's fine. Excuse me. And it's also the energy of this Holy See that will have you, it will like, it doesn't mind if you're quote unquote woke, but to actually be woke, that energy doesn't necessarily like. And so what it'll do is, no disrespect to these elephants, but what it'll do is it will create this circus for the woke, for the wokened individual that keeps you sort of entertained or enticed by it. And I'm not going to go too deep into that, but it is what it is. And then here again, it said for the keeper, this Ace of Swords is their personal sword of power. And for the fool and the seeker, I'm going to read that again. Something told me to read that. Well, it does say the seeker, not the keeper, but the seeker isn't here. the Holy See is kind of sort of in the space of the seeker, which is also interesting because with the seeker, that's the energy of us going to the divine because we've sort of gone as far as we can go as the initiate, and we need more information about something, or we need something to part so that we can go even further into our own spirituality. But the Holy See is here where the seeker used to be. So instead of seeking it for ourselves, or instead of going directly to the divine, we're going to other people. And yeah, that's why the keeper lies beyond these two pillars. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Here it is. This is the divine spark of creation, which can also induce the initiate to become filled with the Holy Spirit and speak in tongues. Oh, that was it. So, with this being the divine spark of creation, which can induce the initiate to become filled with the Holy Spirit and speak in tongues, now in church, we call it speaking in tongues. In spirituality, let's call it channeling, right? So, this power can lead initiates to channel certain information. But to go beyond channeling, one must seek more. And if you get in the circuit, if you get wrapped up in the circus, you'll never go beyond that phase of seeking to claim at the keeper. And that's what this is about, or that's what we have the potential to. Because again, I always look at where the crown falls on the sword. And usually the crown is at the tip of the sword or closer to the tip of the sword. And so it's like this information that we haven't fully integrated yet, right? Because it's like our crown is what we can sort of get from this Ace of Swords. But the crown is like near the hilt. That's near complete, not mastery, but understanding and deeper revelation. And in this deck in particular, it's always about going deeper. That's why the Holy See takes the energy that it takes in this deck instead of just being, like someone that you can go to for trusted spiritual advice. In this deck, it's like get your own advice, like go directly to spirit, lend your ear to the divine yourself, and develop and hone that relationship. Now we have the journeyman, the malaise, and the outlaw. We go 9, 8, 9, 3. And again, the journeyman, all about that mastery. It's all about that mastery. Let's just lay these on top of these. The initiate is the journeyman, right? And it's interesting because, people would think, because there's the initiate, the seeker, and the keeper. And I feel like it would be really easy to be like, oh, like if you're channeling or doing something like that, you must be a keeper. In this deck, if you're channeling, you're still the initiate. You're still the green man. You still a fool, a fresh fool, fresh off the cliff. You ain't even hit the water yet. You still in midair. With the seeker, you hit the water. With the keeper, you dive to the depths of the water that lies beneath the cliff. And then I guess you learn how to fly, and you can fly back up to the cliff, right? And then you start the journey all over again. The keeper is also the card of starting the journey all over again. The seeker, the keeper, yeah, I said it right, goodness. The keeper is also the energy of starting the journey all over again after the fool has gone through the world, right? So it's like the fool is at the beginning, the seeker is like halfway through the major arcana, and then the keeper comes after the world where you've integrated and learned everything, but now you get to start all over interacting with the world in a different way. It's like a new game plus, right? Or it's like after you already beat the game one time, then you kind of sort of know where to go. And it's like you're finding the hidden secrets maybe that you didn't grab or collect the first time around. And again, we have the outlaw there. And I feel like this is outlaw because this Holy See energy doesn't really want us to get here, because this space is where we really disrupt things. And it's like some people, sometimes we think we're like these initiates that are disrupting things and like changing the system. And it's like, not really. Because if you're an initiate that's stuck in the circus, you're still in the system. You're playing to the system's other protocols for you. And I also like the energy of this initiate with the fool, because I think sometimes when we make certain choices. And again, I guess that kind of goes back to that dream as well. In the beginning part of the dream, sorry, I'm trying to get a icebreaker. There we go. I didn't want 4 of them. I've never gotten 4 before. At the most, I've gotten 2. Now, like 4 icebreakers at once come out. Like, that could be the 4 of Pentacles because these are fairly disc shaped. I got the sour ones again instead of the mint ones. I just pop them like candy, honestly. But I like this because, again, both of these are in the same space. Both the initiate and the keeper are in the same space. But the keeper is the one with the knowledge. The seeker is the one that sort of channels the knowledge. And so it's like for the initiate, it becomes a space that they enter. It becomes a ritual that they perform. It becomes a hat that they put on or a room that they come and go from. But to the keeper, it's like they're always in that energy. And because they're always in it, it's like their body and their mind and their spirit acclimates to that. And they can go even higher. But again, both of these are in the same position. But this is the one that's already made a lap one time around before, or several laps around. Right? It's like if you're running a race and you're in last place, but you get lapped. And like that, since you see somebody behind you, you think you're not in last place, but they already lapped you like 2 or 3 times. And again, it's not necessarily a race, but it is speaking to the fact that this initiate can get caught up in the circus at the Holy See, where they don't even seek to go beyond this energy because they see this energy as the penultimate. They see this energy as the top. They see this energy as endgame when it goes way beyond this. And again, like this Holy See energy will kind of sort of keep you exhausted and stuck. It's like you'll hit a wall with that Holy See. If you don't go beyond the Holy See energy, you'll hit a wall. And then you'll be like, I don't know why things aren't working anymore. It's like, because this is not where you stop. It's for you to go beyond. But again, that energy is outlaw. The outlaw, the hangman, is that awakened individual. One eye of the moon, one eye of the sun. And then we see the snake coiled around him. We see the Ankh, symbol of life. That is the keeper. Those are the keepers, the outlaws. And this right here is so interesting because usually, but before I, like in the outside of the context of this, I would typically put like the journeyman closer to the space of the keeper. But in the context of this, the journeyman is still the initiate. And again, maybe it's because of the Suit of Pentacles. It's all earth-based, it's all earth-focused, it's all material. And when there's only material, tangible, physical interests, it's like there's so much to spirituality beyond that. And if you're primarily focused on the material, this Holy See energy will come to a space to try to dominate your soul with the wands, the fire, the soul. But the keeper becomes their own. Twin pillars all over the place. Twin pillars in this one, twin pillars in this one, twin pillars here with the outlaw. And then there are these 2 sort of borders on the frame. No, there are twin pillars. Yeah, twin pillars here as well with the birds on top. It's about going beyond the 8 ways. But it's like, you know, that's sort of like you hit a mirror there. There's nothing beyond this but you. That's when you really recognize and come into the divine that lies within you. He's like, oh my gosh, two more pillars. I gotta go beyond even this, and you pull back the curtain, and boom, it's a mirror, and you find you. But now that you found you, it's like you interact with the world in a completely different way. We're gonna go to my favorite oracle cards, and then we'll wrap this up and we'll do a little something. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I could end it there. I will. And I'll just get an oracle card with the final message. Man holding the heart and storm warning. Oh my gosh, was that yesterday? I saw the man holding a heart in storm warning, and then I had that dream. But I couldn't warn the man because, you know. Man, that was such a rough dream. I woke up, I was like crying in the dream, and I woke up and my eyes weren't wet, but they got wet quick. Because I'm always like, what goes around comes around, and it's like, why play? It's like playing Russian roulette. If you play the game long enough, eventually you're gonna find the bullet. And it's like, why? But try to tell people not to play the game. We can't. We all have free will. So, the woman holding the heart. And that little beauty. Bottom of the deck is patience. Again, patience. Okay, I'll be patient. I will wait for you, Almighty God. In the beauty of your holiness and the beauty of your holiness. Is that justice? Cutting the justice. Hold on, wait. Did I put these cards back upside down? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Because, But wait, hold up. Almost got some reversals in here, which would be fine, but maybe I'll put reversals back in there at some point. I don't know. Maybe not. But like when the energy's supposed to be in reverse, I feel like I can still feel it in reverse. Just like that Queen of Swords. I was like, I feel like this Queen of Swords is in reverse. I mean, especially since it was in the space of an emotional, an emotional blockage. The Queen of Swords, sticking tight to those defenses, not letting them go because you think things will never change, and because you think things will never change, things never change for you. Not because they haven't changed, but just because you treat everything as if it hasn't changed. And so even if something has changed, you still throw it away. All right, final message. One more. Let's do an I Ching. Can I get just one more card, please? Thank you. Wow, I love when they just listen. Bottom of the deck is the Vagabond, that 5 of Pentacles. We got the 5 of Pentacles energy over here, and we got Patience at the bottom over here. It's like, we know it's a little cold, a little lonely, but just wait. It's like a midnight, not like a midnight, it is like a midnight release, but it's also like a, so I learned my lesson with the Wii U and some other stuff about pre-ordering. And I wanted a Nintendo Switch. It was the dead of winter. I put on my layers. I walked because it was too early for the buses to run. I walked maybe 2-ish miles. I mean, but on campus, like walking 2 miles ain't that big of a deal. I just walked down the hill to the GameStop, and I waited outside of GameStop. I was the first person in line. Some people was waiting in their cars. I mean, I ain't have a car. If I had a car, I probably still wouldn't have waited in it because I ain't want to take no chances. So I waited in the cold. I wasn't cold though because I was smart and prepared, and I wore layers, so I was fine. I was prepared. to be out in the cold, to be outside. I was prepared to be outside where it was cold, but I was not cold because, again, I was prepared. And I was the first person in line, and I got my cute little pre-order. And then when it came to pick it up, it was a midnight release, and I ain't walking all the way down that hill in the dark at midnight. So I was like, man, how am I gonna pick it up? And I was like, I could just wait until tomorrow and get it, but I don't want to do that. And so I had some friends who were going to see Logan, and they were going to a late showing, and the showing was over at about midnight. I was like, perfect. I don't want to see Logan, but I do want to get my Switch, so I will go see Logan. And I actually enjoyed the movie. I was a little bit shook. It was like X-Men, but like grown up. Um, and I called and I was like, hey, so like I'm gonna be going to see Logan. Like, would y'all be able to like stay open a little bit longer for me to pick it up? And they were like, yeah, sure. Like, as long as you let us know. I'm like, yeah. So then it worked out. And I guess I say all of that to say that sometimes there are things worth waiting for. Even if you're outside a little bit, even if you're a little cold, as long as you ain't getting frostbitten. And I said that because it almost feels like this energy of a portal that will open for not too long. And if you're already there, you can step through the portal, step through the gate, step through the door as soon as it opens. But if you're not there, then and if you're not there and your portal senses start tingling, you're going to have to try to get there before it closes. And it would be so tragic if right as you go to open the door or right as you go to step through this portal, the wall comes back and you're stuck on the side that you were on. It also speaks to a certain element of faith. And for me, this could be, the woman holding a heart is right here. So, and then there is financial constraint. I was going to flip this up right, but call me biased. I'll leave her in reverse because that would be the current situation, maybe. But with this patience, it will be turning. But romantically, I guess I'm in this interesting space because I've never trusted anyone as much as I do this person. And I've never really known as much as I do for and with this person. And I'm also like, there are so many things that I'm learning right now, so many things that I'm becoming right now that I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or making the right choice. And from the very beginning, I always knew that I wouldn't know. And it's so interesting because like late February, I was like, my work here is done. I've done, and I felt it. I honestly felt it. I was like, my work here is done. I've done everything for you that I'm contractually obligated to do. And I told one of my friends that I felt like that. She was like, well, you said it yourself that, you felt like it was done. And it was like, but to me, there's a difference between the things that I'm contractually obligated to do for someone and like whether or not that's the end of our time together. Because in my mind, it's just like everything that I had to teach you, I've taught you. You're in a good enough space. There's nothing more I can do for you in that regard. And, like I'd rather just like go out and play or enjoy or grow together more fully now instead of like catching you up to where I am or was. And like I was caught up to where the other person was in a lot of ways too. I also learned and grew a lot. Um, but I felt like, that obligatory period was over. And then like, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, we're not even talking. And so for me, this whole time, it's been a choice that I've been making. And my heart is in it, but it's still a choice. And believing, like, I don't know. I know a lot of things. And I feel like I took advantage of how much I do kind of sort of know because there's no knowing in this space. There's only believing. And there's no knowing because free will is a thing and we can still make choices. Right. Just like I could have chose to, cut my own heart out, I guess, and keep living life. Anyway, it's about patience and portals. Patience and portals. No, that's not what I'm going to title this because it's like 40 minutes into the video. All right, let's wrap this up. So, the woman holding a heart with financial constraints in reverse. This could be finances, could have been a burden on a relationship, or someone's physical 3D situation could have affected their ability to see, to their ability to connect. And that's, again, that's the energy of the Holy See with the Knight of Wands. As long as that Holy See can keep you dependent on it, that Holy See is the energy. At first, it was the energy of, like, you know, structured, organized thought, but it's also, I mean, structured, organized thought is also politics. It's also government. It's just a different sector. Instead of spirituality and religion, it's the sort of like life sector, the material sector, right? And that material sector keeps us in this Nine of Wands state where we're constantly striving for more, where we're never satisfied. And because of that, we keep putting more and more and more coins into the machine and then going to work for more coins to put into that machine. And if we get stuck there, like I said, we never go beyond the matters of the physical to claim the heart. And again, that initiate was clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. It's all about furthering our own material sort of purpose. And then that's how that Holy See dominates our souls, with fire being, you know, the element connected to the soul, the divine spark that resides within us. It's only really when we sort of let go of our physical material concern that we allow ourselves to more fully, truly, honestly pursue what lies beyond those gates. There's that outlaw again with the mallets. Girl, both of these are in reverse, question mark? Maybe I just flipped them that way. Hey, look, there's the Page of Cups. Okay, Page of Cups, what's your message? Hold up. Hold up. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, there's the angel. That's the message, because I got confused. The message from the Page of Cups is temperance. It's to be patient and wait. Goodness. Okay. I can do that now, though. I made some real breakthroughs on the Legacy channel last night about what I am learning and how I am growing and developing in this space of patience, what it's teaching me. So since the outlaw is in reverse, it's now time for him to fly. Where he was hanged in the past, he now floats. But the Ankh is still there at his feet. So even though we are, or we may be flying, we still need to be tethered to life, right? We still flying. And then here's the mallets in reverse. And again, it's putting down the burdens of being stuck in the rat race and putting down the responsibility to keep up with the external environment. And it's releasing your external environment and the people and situations around you from the responsibility that we put on them to care for us, nurture us, or show us that they love us. Because again, it's for us to find it within ourselves and then to rise and be elevated within that. And I love this. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna end this. That's where I'm in this. That's where I'm in this. And the way this originally fell out, it was like this, or like that technically, but it fell out on top of this crossways, financial constraints blocking the woman holding a heart. And then it came out in reverse. So all of that can be over. Maybe you've done it for yourself, and so you're just waiting on the outside to reflect it. But while you're waiting on the outside to reflect it, you're still elevating and learning things, right? Still learning. Right now, not only am I learning patience, but like I said, I'm learning so much right now. I don't know what's right and I don't know what's wrong. And usually I don't question it. Usually I just go with whatever feels right. And usually it works for me. I don't know why for a few days I got a little confused, but if I didn't get confused that few days, I wouldn't have realized also what it is that I'm learning right now in this space of patience in the space of increasing my emotional capacity and reservoir. I thought it was pretty deep before. Maybe it wasn't deep enough because I can feel it. It's like when I allow the water to just sit in my vessel, a lot of times I feel like I start to overfill. And so I want to purge it and then fill back up. But I think it's to allow, for me personally right now, it's to allow the water to sit in the vessel because it's just like earth. It's carving its way down, 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 down. And but as it does that, it's increasing my capacity to hold more and more and more. That's why I chose to Ten of Wands my journey, I guess. Or it's one of the extra perks I get from choosing to Ten of Wands my journey instead of just throwing it all up in the air saying F it and whatever, right? So I had my little F it moment because I was like, wow, this person like don't really give a F about me. And I knew that that wasn't true at the time. But like I said, I needed to release it for a few days because then when I pick it back up, it's almost like I have a new, no, it's like as I pick it back up, it's like when you walk around carrying a heavy load for a long time and then you put it down and you pick it back up and you're like, wait, whoa, like, did this get lighter? Like, did I lose a few ones somewhere? And it's like, no, you didn't lose any ones, but you did get accustomed to the weight in a good way. Again, because at least for me, it's increasing my capacity to carry and to hold, to bear. It's probably, if I know anything about the person, it's going to be necessary. No tea, no shade. It just is what it is. And I'm sure that, you know, I'm being prepared for not only that person, also for the role that I'm going to come into in life. And I'm sure that they're being prepared in ways too. I know they are. So, you know, part of me, it's getting to the point where it's like, I just don't want to be wrong. And so that's another thing that can introduce a little bit of worry, maybe. Yeah, I feel like worry is a close enough word. I don't want to be wrong. And usually, like, I know. It's like I know. And I do know, but do I really? Because, you know, you don't know anything, or we don't know anything really when it comes to other people, because we never know in a pinch sort of like what they'll decide or if they'll ever decide to come around, right? So, yeah. Here's a zebra again. Splayed out. There you go. We can also do this. I don't know. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all of your dreams and hopes and wishes come true. I think it was on the Legacy channel last night where it came out that yeah, it was that it's near time for things to resume and for things to be dispersed. Not dispersed with a P, but disbursed with a B. DISBURSED. Time for things to be paid out. There you go. The payout is coming. And maybe that's what the dream was sort of related to last night as well. It's about not being able to sort of stop or prevent things from getting, or not being able to stop or prevent, or to even, but at this point, warn people about the things that are necessarily coming. And I'm not responsible for anyone else but me. And I've done my best to do what I felt was in alignment for the space that I was in. And it may be unfortunate for some other people, but I have to respect their sovereignty and decisions. And we're all on our paths, right? No matter how badly we would want someone else to be on it. But also at the same time, you know, I guess my North Node, no, it's my sun. My sun is like 10 degrees in the 10th degree of Pisces. And it's all about sort of taking a journey on my own. It's a journey of enlightenment. That's a very narrow road. And then even my moon is in a degree where it's like two cobblers sitting at a table. And then my rising is a fully decorated Christmas tree. So with the star on top and everything. So kind of born into the world with the star on top. But maybe that's another reason why the path is a little bit more narrow for me. Seemingly. Or whatever. I don't know. Look into your Sabian symbols for your natal degrees. That's cute. It was fun. I enjoyed it. All right. Catch y'all later.